Two were able to leapfrog Heroic and get themselves into that top spot. Heroic here. They might be able to try and fight that back. Virtus.pro, they're currently not entirely chomping at the tail of them. There's still obviously 2 points between them, but are Heroic going to maybe suffer another leapfrog? It is, unfortunately, and obviously this is pretty much an entirely new Heroic roster, so take this with the biggest grain of salt there is.
Yes.
They have
a big grain right now.
A huge grain of salt. Hold your huge grain of salt.
Heroic
fans know this better than anyone. They have an unfortunate history of sometimes letting the wheels fall off at the end of a season.
Just like I let this grain of salt fall now.
Oh no!
It's all over the ground.
But it is an entirely different roster. That is purely just specific there. Doom has been target banned.
Rest in peace for Doom. He's not going to be playing onto the Yana with the ARX and the Gemini Replicator. His army also going to be removed. Operator Day can be very oppressive. And Valkyrie, the last one, trying to hinder the defense's capability of gathering information with extra cameras all around the map. That's the bans all done. And that means we are getting underway with Heroic against Virtus.pro. First round seems to be taking place on the Laundry. I mean, it is basically only one of the two real options you often see. It's either the top floor or it is going to be the Laundry. So, it's going to be that one to come through. And there's two opportunities of the kind of play you'll see here. Either it's the return of the Big Boy Turtle that we mentioned yesterday on a different map.
Do you love the Big Boy Turtle?
Big Boy Turtle does go through multiple maps, not just one. Or we're going to see a heavy roam setup from Heroic here, where, you know, there's one or two players on the side. The rest is going to be trying to waste as much time as they possibly can elsewhere. And when I see an M870 shotgun just creating rotations like this, it kind of tells me that there is definitely going to be some sort of roam.
Look at that.
Which will be used for it.
They're setting up the roam all over the shop. They're giving at least some players a chance to make motion, and that player is likely Doom, the one we've ended up here. Gets a free drone. There's another one, though, up in the double bed that they didn't quite get the sight on, and they'll see the helmet of Mozzie just dabble away towards the other side, and they'll know if they rotate down. That's why they're going to put quick pressure here onto that window, and maybe even towards the double door itself. They're trying to get the lead in there onto that player, and they're trying to sort of say, look, we're around you. Here it is. The double door gets popped open. They're isolating Doom, getting him stuck in. There's a drone that'll get a read. There's the smash on the door. He's going against the window, and that was just perfect from Virtus.pro. They had that first bit of intel. They trapped him in a corner, and they shot him in the face.
Did what they needed to do there. Just isolate that one roamer and basically take it without any losses whatsoever. Well, actually, no losses whatsoever. No utility used. Not a single point of damage. Just a single swing of a hammer. All they needed to move him on. Now they continue. The job isn't done yet, though. There's still roamers about. What?
It's just a funny statement to make 0 to 0 with.
Yeah, no. I mean, the
job's
not done in terms of roam clear. Sorry, it's
just funny.
It only just started, and there's still a very heavy roam up on the top for Heroic. It's just shifted towards the first floor now as Uno falls back. It's the only player that is currently on that site. Skitty looking to blow up that sledge as they open up the hatch, I believe.
We've seen a little bit of Sophia. We kind of talked about her a little bit before, where she's sort of found herself in a bit of a niche role. Her play rate across both comp and ranked has dropped off massively, but with Iana off the board, suddenly need maybe something else as that drive through. And there it is, the first is able to come towards the end. There's the second for Dan to make it 3, but that's where it'll stop for now. Blaz bites himself in the rotates that we saw much earlier on. But now the 2 versus 4. The pressure down to the site itself. Blaz, he's got the rotate past the double door. It's not punished until it is. Dan with his third. They had the read on the back end, and now they just have Kayak. He's the only one trying to hold on to the site itself. He's playing around the danger side. There's the reveal on the player. The C4 will get itself one. I thought it got shot out, but they're able to get the clear down. The end of a blind there. Dan threw that into the corridor. They've been able to manipulate themselves down towards the box, but they're still droning. They still have 40 seconds. They still have time.
Still a Razor Bloom on a double door as well, so if he moves away from it, at least he's going to get information as soon as Dan starts to push through. Instead, goes for the chase. Kayak will find one. 1v2 situation now. Needs to find one more. Doesn't quite connect to Pasha. And Virtus.pro will find themselves their first round on the attack, which started off really nicely in terms of finding that first roamer, isolating them and securing the kill. But afterwards, just continue that aggression onwards towards that first floor. Acting on top of information they just received and instantly making sure it is leveraged their way. So VP with a very solid first round.
Oh, it was fantastically coordinated. They knew what the problem was. They knew what they wanted to do with it, and they did it. And yeah, there was a lot of setup in towards the rotate. There was a lot of options for a player to hit, but if he gets caught in a corner that early on,
yeah,
well, you know, you really don't have that full stretch, and then winning the fights on the back end. But first round, job's not done.
Job's not done.
You should imagine saying that after every single kill. Job's not
Job's
done.
not done.
I bet there are people that do.
Definitely will be people now that do it in a ranked game. Get one kill. Job's not done,
If you
mate.
play with Fresh. If anyone plays with Fresh and ranked, please.
After every kill he makes, please say job's not done.
Keep telling him job's not done.
Job's not done.
Heroic. They're rotating around onto dorms. There is obviously the roam capabilities. It's a very different handle that you have, and Doom might be the one that tries to have the handle again. He's inside classroom, cutting down drones. There's a couple of hatches you can hit if you're Oryx, but most of it is the 3 staircases that sort of surround this map itself, cutting off a small tower. You've got the way back up freezer end. You've got a hatch that can drop you down right into the middle of it. They've opened up as well 2 stories if you hit attic into that hatch, down into the basement, and suddenly you're a loose cannon that's got to be found.
Quick use of the EMP impact there to see and deny any piece of utility on the other side. Most likely going to be a mute jammer there that stops drones from rolling through. Now allows them to gain that information. While it's pushing up. Using that DMR, heavy hitting rifle, we see more and more actually starting to come into play, and that's just because it deals so much damage. I believe that 417 is 71 points of damage or something, so it's like a 2-shot to the body to almost every single operator in the game. It's just too good to not play with. If you have the trick, you didn't need to hack those. Shoot those.
Well,
so hacked by the clutch.
they're dead now.
Yeah, they are.
Rip. Yeah, the clutch drone gets some of it. And the Brava themselves almost gets got in response. They were holding onto a close angle on the window. There's the reveal of Uno. The calls come through. And Virtus.pro, they haven't been able to find that loose thread because it's just not been offered to them this time round. They worked on information quite early last time. This time they haven't quite got the information to work on. The bit of the stretch, the bit of the slow rotate there from Kayak. Skiddy, he's tucked around security. I'm not sure if the hatch is open, but either way, he might have that as an option as he waits for the pressure to come across. Pasha hasn't got quite the quick zip, but they might rotate off the side of the building here and go up through the window right next to where Kayak is. There's a lot of options here for Virtus.pro. They're just trying to formulate which is the one.
We're getting some hot information from Sprabuni. If VP wins this, BDS is out.
Whoa.
If I read that right. So,
BDS.
BDS is definitely going to be looking on.
Uh-oh, but in French.
If VP win in OT, sorry, I have to say, right? Always finds a kill, 10 finds a kill. It's going to be a double entry out there. So VP definitely have the opening they were looking for. Just a little bit later this time. Doom goes aggressive, finds himself in the grave as well. And now Kayak again. In a clutch situation, can you pull it off this time? It's a bit more difficult now. EDD will pop off one. Well, not get more than that. Pasha locks it off. Beautiful round from Virtus.pro. Oh, I like this as well.
Love the horizontal zip.
Just the Gara hook for some extra momentum into the bomb site. Actually a way to dodge frost mats.
Yeah. It clears you over frost mats, gets you past the distance and the danger that offer in that sort of situation. I mean, there it was. As I said, Virtus.pro, they didn't have the early bit of intel to work on, so they had to try and rebuild that. They had to try and find their start. They found it very, very well. Obviously, they were able to explode themselves onto Trophy at the same time that they put the pressure down towards the shower corridor, and they had the player consistently watching for Skiddy's swing as well from server. They made sure that if there was a player to be accounted for, they accounted for them. And then that closed down, that sort of split push.
Now, I have to say something, Emmy.
Say it.
In the last couple of matches VP played, what was the equation we were making? Like a diesel engine? Slow to start?
Yeah, slow to start.
Yeah, it's not really the case now, is it?
Then it starts to chug into gear, and then suddenly it's off on the tracks, kind of
Keep
scary.
rolling.
Keep rolling.
Started off rolling this time, 2-0. 2 very comfortable rounds as well.
I mean, that's it. I think you're seeing Heroic there losing that early gunfight. They're losing the second early gunfight, usually is the response to it. As I said, Virtus.pro's game at working out where things are and then acting around it is fantastic. They are catching the hold rather than, I would say, exploiting the hold. They're setting up a net, but the net is full of Russians with guns.
Very scary.
Very scary net. And from this, here they go. The drive once again over the top. And, you know, the lineup, as I said, they've still got the Sophia as the drive through. They've still got the removal of the Iana. It's an operator that they've not wanted. And not really played the game of it as well.
Means they're comfortable bringing different operators out for the job. It's kind of just mentioned to Blast, hey, the drone just passed. You have freedom of movement, and does exactly that, but afraid of the fact that he's going to be locked in again because there's a drone right underneath him. So he's forced to go back off again. Doesn't want to stick around. Goes back down the stairs just slightly. Waiting for these drones to come through, playing in Shaiko now. And always just has such a good read with that drone. Knows exactly that there's no one currently pushing, so that gives them freedom to start opening up this hatch.
Shepard getting the Maverick work done on the hatch itself. You've obviously got a Kaid potential on the board. Here it's not going to be the slowdown itself, but expect to see some good use of the canisters. Heroic, they've played cards closer to the chest, all the players buried down towards the site. They sort of realized Kayak was close, just peek them out one at a time when it came down to the shove, so why not rely on that rather than the game that's otherwise been VP's driving point. Push the time as much as possible, but here, a minute 20, the hatches are starting to fall open, the drones are starting to fall towards the site itself. They have the reveal of a player onto pillar. They might know about the one on Shaiko as well. Dan, he's ready to start rock and rolling those candelas. There'll be the pop, wanted the fire canister. There it is, bounced off the door. Beautiful play.
He's going to actually provide some freedom and some safety towards the player looking to drop the hatch, because now no one is going to be peeking from the close side. The flashbangs are coming through, and thus Doom is even more important now. Grenades roll in as well. What can he do with those glasses? Well, the fire is definitely out there, keeping Blaz at bay.
They really want to take the drop. That grenade forces them around the corner. They've hit the ground, and Dan gets the double. Blaz and Doom torn apart. Kayak still gets a stopper onto this, but Shepard and Dan finds Basher as well in the chaos. He cannot stop killing. Skitty! He's swinging his way around elbow. Moves out of the danger of the fire, but look, 20 seconds. You've still got a C4 in pocket, and you've still got control of this. The default plant spot with Kayak on the rotate over the top. Joystick and Dan, they've got to try and drive themselves round to the corner. They've got to see if they can find a plant spot that's not going to get punished by that hold in that position. But with Kayak on the back end, it's not going to be a quiet drop onto the hatch, but it can be round defining. They swing round, they see the reveal of the player. There's Skitty getting one on the back end. It's a tricky situation for Joystick, and he can't find it. 2-1, and Heroic hold on.
Well held on there. I think the rotation from Kayak are really crucial there in the end, because they realize, like, everybody's going for the drop. But with that, you also put your team at risk, because they need to hold on just long enough for you to be able to get to that hatch, where you then can start playing that vertical game. Heroic managed to live for now, but the initial execute from VP on point. Dan dropping down the hatch, finding 2, was definitely crucial there. The fact they get a team kill right afterwards, I mean, you can kind of forgive him for that, considering the game he's been playing so far. I mean, 6 kills in 3 rounds. But that definitely did hurt them in that round.
Sprabuni on screen.
Is that the new jingle we're going to go?
It's Sprabuni on screen. Look at those. What do they mean? Hap.
If an OT win comes in for Virtus.pro, that means that both VP and Heroic are confirmed top 3. Cool. First place is still up for grabs. Basically, both need a regulation win for that to stay in the running. This just means that, you know, BDS is so far behind, even with that win, that if Heroic pick up a single point, they are safe. And if VP pick up 2 points, they're also safe. So this group can be locked off at the end of today.
The worst case scenario here for BDS is a Virtus.pro OT win.
Yes, that's exactly it. There's nothing they can do anymore.
So if you're a BDS fan, I hope for anything but that.
Oh, definitely. C4 ripped. Not going to be finding anything as of yet, so probably will be put back in pocket soon. Bashing rolling around with a Gara hook is showing me that he wants to go in somewhere quickly, but not really been given the opportunity as of yet, so we'll quickly put that back. He might just try and take games quickly this way. He's eyeing up the window.
I mean, the temptation is always obviously there. They want to be pacey, and it's not that that's been the big strong point for Virtus.pro here. They've been great behind intel. For me, that's the read. They've sort of seen what they can do, and It's a quick take here, a little bit flat towards the top of tower. Get in, get that locked down. It's droned, it's clear, and you can sort of play around that without the danger of repelling too long. Oh, the pressure onto Trophy. Always watch where the diffuser's moving. Always watch where that's getting itself eyed up, because that's what they want to sort of close down here.
Drone comes through, quickly takes care of some of the cameras, actually managed to get past Mew Jammers as well and take down the first pocket of fire. Now, that's going to be providing some safety later on when they want to be pushing through the trophy door. No longer anything there to really stop them, except for maybe, you know, C4 to
Oh,
step them.
do they know?
They have the phone call, they should be aware of it.
The call is going through,
Oh,
Doom wins it out, gets rid of Always on the swing round, lets the phone go because he knows the important part right now is having his gun up, and proves it. There it is, the entry kill going into their favor. He just threw the kit off the roof. I really enjoy that. Let it roll. I don't think I've ever seen a diffuser roll before.
It's like, just quickly go down and have no time to repel here and then drop it on the ground. So, this is the quick way to bring it down. Pasha's still on the kid's window right now. I'm not quite sure. Doesn't have the Gara hook in pocket as of yet. We'll open up the window so that doesn't give it away. Joystick just walks up the stairs, finds one. Fully aware of the fact that Skitty is still down below. Shows himself just momentarily. 50 seconds though. Blazry taking an aggressive spot on the B-bomb chassis as well. Joom finds Dan. Jump pins are going to be the name of the game here.
The flashes go out either side of the bed. He's entirely blind to what's coming through, and the player underneath didn't get the catch, but there it is. Leans back in. Shepard is alone, and Heroic send him on not long after. 2 apiece now. 2 on Laundry, 2 on Dorms. They've both got 1. Where will we go for the third?
Answer is not Laundry or Dorms, so it's, it's going to be meeting. Yeah, that's always the question. Which of the tertiary side are you going for?
Yeah.
Is it going to be meeting or is it going to be dining?
Which kitchen do you want?
It's always the same kitchen. It's just which room adjacent to it. But meeting in this case. So I'm writing that down before they quickly change it.
Well, they can't now.
They can now.
No, it's locked in.
Meeting is often the one where we see an OSA come to play. Stage plans are often the name of the game.
It's the thing that I want to sort of comment on here on Virtus Pro is you always look at the current sort of meta. You go back to any of the majors, you go back to any of the leagues, and you sort by player stats, and you see repetition. You see familiar names, you see aces, you see Ianas, you see sledges, you see Dockerbees, you see a lot of familiarity. The lineups that Virtus Pro have been bringing are almost like familiar of a different era. I really like seeing the Zofia sort of brought back to levels because you just don't see Zofia apart from on specific takes. The same way you don't see Maverick apart from on specific takes. You know, seeing a Zofia and a Maverick and an Ashe and a Ying in a lineup is like, what year is this?
Like, except for the Brava that we're seeing occasionally from Dan, we could have gone back like 2 years.
But I really like that. I love when things can be changed up. I love when teams try and reapply operators. The more that are valid and the more that are viable is a stronger game. Always is, always has been.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the more diversity we have in the operator... Oh, gotta be very careful there to not let the hack go through. Oh, no!
Failed.
Wanted to hack the EDD there, but just had failure because he lost line of sight. Otherwise, could have gone for a blow-up onto Uno there.
Wow. Now Uno, he's sort of hoping he can get the swing round. The Brava drone was dedicated. You gotta give it that.
Definitely a drone on a mission.
Drone on a mission. Virtus Pro, they're back to their game of trying to weigh up and find. They've been successful both first attacks and attempts on the first site at sites. Here though, they're trying to find against slightly more energized Heroic. The spread, the hold around Dorms. You keep control of Kitchen from that angle. You can give some of the small tower away because you're not playing the dining extension. Instead, Blaz is holding on to the opposite end, the other tower on the far side.
Now, they've actually opened up the wall from dining into kitchen already on the side of VP, I believe. So that might actually tell you that they're eyeing up to eventually go over towards the kitchen side of things to go for a plant. An opening happens, so on either side, Uno and Dan both find a kill on one another. So nice little trade kill, even for even. That's going to mean that neither of them are going to be able to continue onwards, as Always finds Kayak.
Yeah, removes Kayak. They were trying to get the breach onto the wall on Dorms as well, but I think Joom shut it off. So Skitty's able to stay standing in that situation, and they've got to try and force this player out. The swing onto the fight, and Joom doesn't get the lock-in, finds it with the secondary, and he's going to have to go for the next, and he somehow gets it! Well, that is not the most common pair of kills with that pair of weapons, but suddenly they have a body advantage. They have 50 seconds. They have the kit called as well as to where it got dropped on the opposite end. And Virtus.pro has a tricky rebuild here because that is a very awkward spot to get in and get close here. You've got to go past a lot of partially open terrain, and they're proving why it's so tricky. Heroic have entirely resurfaced themselves to watch around this, and always, I mean, has a mammoth task ahead.
That's just the call that comes through, right? Like, diffuser down. Let's rotate up, guys. We don't have to actually be on the side anymore. They still always have the opportunity to fall back as a full white flash on himself comes through. It's Joom looking to lean into the fight here to find himself an extra. It's actually Capcom right behind his shield to get caught, but Joom locks him off instantly after, not allowing the spray through transfer to come in, and allowing Heroic to take the lead of this game.
Yeah, they obviously lost the first two, pulled it back since then, round after round. Now we go back to Laundry and who will be the top dogs at the washroom, really, at this point. Obviously, the change towards the ward and the eyes onto the flashes, the motion, as I said, the lineups where you sort of see them and you go, okay, well, this is reminiscent of this. The Maverick's gone because they realize the hatches aren't really being electrified against. You can still bring the range hard breach at Fabana, and then you can maybe put the pressure onto all the sort of angles to get open. You've got a lot of that in Oregon. You've got a lot of mirror holds, you've got a lot of places. Oof! And then the second and going, we're close enough.
It's like not enough ammo in the MX4 Storm, like, just pull out the shotgun secondary.
And one shot left in the secondary as well.
Yeah. It was enough at that range. Like, it's not anti-personnel.
No,
except for on that
it
range.
is not built to get itself on a scoreboard, but very occasionally it does.
Definitely did there. Heroic eyeing up a potential fourth round. They have 3 in a row right now. Been able to fight back the initial stance for this Brotuk in this game, which was of some quick, good, like, concessive kills to come through. As soon as the first fell, like, Heroic was quickly to fall with the rest of the team afterwards. They've pulled themselves back into it without using a tactical timeout. Actually got 3 in a row right now. Skitty very close to losing his life there as he fell back. Kayak just a second earlier about to experience the same. Both live for now. And the top again being cleared by Pasha. Just roaming around. Will be opening up probably a hatch. Some rotations over the top as well to give himself some quicker entries left, right and center. Verticalities are now the name of the game as well, which he should be careful for, because otherwise we might actually see some C4 play. If it wasn't for the entirety Heroic to have fallen back, bar Blaz. He's being droned, does it?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like he's trying to work it out. It's climbing.
Don't think he was drone actually.
Pasha has climbed his drone up to the top. There it is.
He didn't get it yet.
No, it did a lot. It did a lot of like tricks, but 20 seconds later, the result is still the same. The players are forced slightly further back. Dan wants to move behind this. They weren't able to net the kill on the back end. I said Maverick wasn't originally picked. Obviously, it was changed into to get the hatch instead. They don't want to go for the range breach. They still want to focus their approach towards where it is, burn with the flash, and try and get the blinds. It's all once again onto Joom. He was forced quite well away from the original fight with the flashes, with the blinds, but did, I think, just enough to try and stem that attention. All the utility was driven around a single point, and they had none left for anywhere else on the site.
Now, you might be immune to those flashes, but the fire is definitely going to be hurting you if that lands in your corner. So Joom needs to be careful here as impacts are coming through. So do the concussions. That won't be stopped either. So Joom has a bit of blurry vision right now with the grenades following up shortly afterwards. Surely they're trying to go for a bit of an execute here, but Joom just leans in, finds the first. Now VP need to slow it down. Okay, what happened? How are we going to be able to salvage this? Because we don't quite have the opening we were looking for.
I mean, brilliant response there. Sort of realized the pressure comes from this hatch, and he's going to be the pressure right back there as the second. Dan does get the kill on the end, but is quickly dropped back against them. They're hoping to find one. Skitty has the cover from the soft wall, and now Shepard is the only one left far away as he can only watch his teammate get dropped. 20 seconds, 4 heroic players to get through, and the kit is very far away. Doesn't even have the time for a rotate at this point. Is gonna hope the bait comes, but Uno is the one locked. 4-2 for the half here for Heroic, 4 in a row. Will that continue on their attack?
It definitely turned sour really quickly there for Virtus.pro. Like those first 2 rounds that looked like they had complete control of the game, were able to just basically counter whatever Heroic was throwing at them. But afterwards, Heroic really stepped it up. Not using the tactical timeout as well, we have to mention. They still have that in pocket, so does Virtus.pro. Of course, you're not going to be using that right on the round swap. If they lose this one, however, VP that is, we might actually see that change come in, the tactical timeout. Still see a rehost most likely to come through. Which does mean there is an opportunity to talk for the teams if it is going to happen. Now, it has been confirmed we are downstairs by the drones. That will not change after a rehost has happened. The only thing that can change is the attacking lineup, because there was still time left on the clock. There was still the opportunity to go for a repick. Is always showing strats, or is he blocking off his camera again, which he usually does?
He always does.
It's a book of some sort.
Always does.
Yeah, he always does.
It might be a book. It might just be a... Usually it's the bottle.
Usually it's the bottle. This sounds like some sort of text on there.
Joystick's off.
Yeah, he had enough of it.
He's got to move the ball. Yeah,
always give me my book back.
You know, some people uncomfortable being seen on cam. I don't know the rules, but it's obviously fine, so it's fine.
It is.
I wish I could put a bottle in front of you when you're on cam.
Why in front of me?
I don't know. It just sounded mean to say, so I said it.
You had your chance to be mean earlier on today.
Yeah, then I was. All right. Here we have a tech pause. We'll be back in as soon as Virtus.pro were able to get the first 2 rounds, and they got them very, very well. And, you know, Heroic, they had some moments, they had some ideas, but the intel game was entirely out of their hands, I think, at that point. Since then, without the side of a timeout, we've obviously had a re-energized Heroic. They've responded quicker, they've responded more aggressively, they've made motions in towards Virtus.pro before Virtus.pro have been able to get themselves solidified. It's the sort of game that you have to play against them. You cannot let them get set up. You have to be the problem in that sort of slow roll. And you can see that now from the motions. I think Heroic, on the defense, they started playing closer to the sort of site, but more ready and able to cause problems first.
Yes, for sure. Definitely been able to cause some problems. Only 2 of the entry kills, though, for Heroic. Well, one of them is kind of like contested, considering like it was a 1-on-1 trade between 2 of them. Which shows you that in the start, VP is still stronger. But they quite haven't been able to convert every single one of those rounds. Now they're going to be going over towards the defense, and that's going to change things up a little bit here. It's going to be Heroic knocking at your front doors instead. And how are you going to last? Now you're going to be able to act upon that. Now, Always has removed the book, and that means that we're probably getting back into the game soon. Just a guess. Also, do you remember Shepard's gaming pose back in the day?
Yeah.
He's not doing it now, but it's like when he pulled up his one leg in front of him,
one leg up
around it.
It was the same.
Do
you remember? Was it Sexy Cake had both legs up?
Yes.
The Latin American player, Sexy Cake.
It's always like how do you manage to perform so well, having this kind of posture?
It's whatever you get comfortable with.
It is what you get comfortable with, but when you try yourself, like, how does this work? Dez is in love with his joggers.
A good, and I don't know why this situation would arise. If you ever need to buy a good gift for Dairy Desert Dew Holt,
it's a pair of jogging pants.
A pair of tracksuit pants.
I also love joggers, you know, to wear them every now and then.
Yeah, but I
think Dez has a.
I wouldn't get that. Wouldn't be your first gift.
Have multiple gift options. Nice.
Yeah, something like a calculator or something.
It would have helped earlier on today when we were doing algebra. Yes.
A Verstappen flag. I don't know.
No, that's a bit too far.
Oh. Why? He's already won.
Season's already over. It's locked up.
Okay, enough about that. 4-2. We're back in the game, and we're back in now with the second half. Both teams still have their timeout. Both teams still have the chance to have a conversation. And I think if this round goes away from Virtus.pro, they probably will. You're looking at a dangerous situation right now. If they do not get the full 3 points, they'll find themselves in a trickier and trickier place. If either of these 2 teams suffer a full loss, well, they are pretty much confirmed just playing through the opens.
Still an opportunity, but yeah, it's definitely going to get very, very difficult to make it through. Skitty takes down the camera instantly. He's receiving some bullets back his way. Some good use of information there, because you lose that one cam. It's like, well, that must mean someone's out there near the actual master bedroom, so let's just fire some bullets towards it. Punch holes. Luckily, no more bullet holes. That's a throwback.
Yeah, nobody home. Pasha could rotate up if he wants to, and with that wall locked is a little bit more safety to do so, because obviously the breach in that is when you sort of have to go, okay, danger's hot, let's pull back. But the pressure is coming quite direct to it. The drones are leading themselves through. They have the route, and there's the wall that, as I said, is locked. They have the attention towards it. He's holding on for as long as possible, but I think he also knows that his time is numbered. The breach onto the laundry side. The hatch falls a minute 30. They're focused towards it. They haven't found an engagement yet, but that's going to get sooner and sooner as Doom drifts his way around. Pre-fires the hope and the angle and the swing, but otherwise nobody's home.
It's a very turtlish setup that we're seeing from Virtus.pro. And the thing is as well is they have the mirror on the board. So Freezer is basically out of reach. You're not really going to be able to do much from there unless you manage to get rid of that window. But at the same time, the laundry staircase is also being watched by Dan. So that's basically an entire side of the map that you're not going to be able to use or put too much pressure on it, because they will know if there will be any. And that limits you to a hatch, a staircase, and a barrels doorway. And that's exactly what Heroic will be working with here. The drones are starting to come through, are pinging out some information for players and utility that needs to be removed. And so the first grenade rolls through. But the ADS has gone unseen. The aggression comes out because they do not want a second grenade to follow up instantly afterwards.
Oh, do they know about the joystick rotate there? He's tucked himself in just under the stairs on Harry Potter. Always gets Blaz and always pushes his way up the stairs. Joystick does get the catch. Kayak stops the stem, but quickly Joystick recovers. There is Doom down. There is only Uno left, and he has a very long distance to do anything. 20 seconds. They should find the end of Doom here. He's just tucked on the side of the smoke. That one won't get him either. He's going to see if he can swing down the stairs itself. They've pulled themselves back. They've given the territory back and sort of said, well, we still have the site. We still have the hold. We still have Doom. What do you have? Nothing.
Lookout comes through from Joystick, and VP find themselves with another round. And, you know, I mentioned it. Look, it was super turtled. Two mirror windows out there, which basically made it impossible to push from Freezer and from Laundry. And then you have 4 guns of VP all watching the same hatch drop. You're not going to be finding too much success from that. You need to follow that up with utility, but that utility just wasn't there in the pockets of Heroic. But at least that's that side taken care of for now. They will not be having to play it for another 2 rounds at least before they can go back. And that will give them some opportunity to start working towards the 6 mark. That will give them that 1 point, put them onto match point as well. And as we're headed towards the top floor, this one is a bit more accessible. Mirror is not really played as often here, not as effective usually. This Virtus.pro is going for a different strategy. Frostmats, Capcan traps, some denial.
Yeah, obviously the location that you'll expect to see a mirror is on the trophy wall from the side of Attic, usually with the other one soft, so you can swing against it, which is what Shepard is setting up right now, giving them that angle. It means the armory door is a bit more awkward. It means that getting that control of the territory is a little bit more awkward. The second, that's the one that becomes a little bit more of a question placement.
Where do you place it?
Yeah, do you...
It's no real good spot.
Yeah, you know, you can have it on the dorms wall between the 2 rooms. You can have it maybe even underneath on kitchen to make the approach from small tower a little bit more awkward and give your server player a little bit more. That's staying soft as Joystick heads up, though. Will this be a surprise?
There's a drone out there. I believe he might have been spotted because I saw some lights on, so... Definitely know someone is there now because the drone just got shot. And that means there is going to be attention paid towards Joystick. However, how much is that question? Like, are you going to try and get some of your grenades in? You only have 4. It's quite a valuable resource to use, but there's nothing there to stop that grenade from flying through. So if you know exactly where he is, it should be a guaranteed kill.
Wow, Joystick. He wants to try and lean into the place they might not expect. Here's the movement there on a cam.
Bring him.
So the Nook has gone on by, got themselves underneath. They're ready to potentially rip roll with a grenade over towards the top and the back end of Pit. Where is the catch currently there? Trying to opt for something there. Trying to opt for the hold.
Joystick is in such a good position here. I think they actually do not know he was in the tower stairs. Like, surely the flank is being watched right now, and I think Joystick is experienced enough to know that he shouldn't be passing through that door because, I mean, he's been watching it very carefully every single step he took downstairs. And Skitty is now running towards the kitchen. That is definitely going to be putting up some pressure to move there. The grenade right underneath. Shepard will find him, and that's the opening. But it's also going to be the call for Joystick to try and make something happen.
Brilliantly played, and there's the second follow-up, and there's the third. Skitty and Blaz screamed their way across underneath. They had all of the hold in the world. And we talked about what can be done if they'd sort of kept on that mirror and how they could set it up to stop it from small tower. Big was the big problem there, and they didn't have the mirror anyway. So it's sort of that problematic swing. Always gets a freebie, but they are circling him, and oh, there's suddenly Joystick getting it from above. There's still the player, not too far away from Always. It's Blaz tiptoeing on the door, hoping Always just goes for the rotate from Classroom up towards the stair set. They are well aware that he's tucked himself into that position, but they're also well aware that it's technically a 2 versus 1 on the site itself. If they can force one of these fights, it's theirs. And Joystick, he's under pressure, he's blind, they lose the other one anyway. It's another set of blinds. As the rotate comes around, suddenly it's a 3 versus 1. They can wait a bit. They're not quite moving in behind it because of it. They've bullied him into a corner. Everybody's blind. Joystick sees, but he doesn't quite get the full scrape. The frost mat stops one of them. The second trying to go for the plant. There's the confirmation of where he is. There's the Nook holding the door. They go for the swing. Oh, not the Nook, even the Buck.
Blast playing on a bit of sound right there. The puck mat coming out. Yes, unfortunately not round defining in the end, but definitely could have been if it wasn't for all the Candelas literally bullying him into the corner. Tactical timeout is going to be called, rightfully so, by Virtus.pro. They have the opportunity to. It is 5-3. I said it, like, that's kind of the mark where you want to use it at this point. You didn't want to use it right away. You don't want to use it after you've just won a round so comfortably onto the basement as well. So this is them probably going over what just went wrong and trying to go for a replay on dorms.
I mean, that's it. It's the conversation. As I said, they want to keep themselves off of map point. They need the full 3. They need the chance to jump the team ahead of them, and they need that cemented. And that is something that doesn't come free. That is something that doesn't come without this very dangerous fight. Them getting towards the chance at not getting a full point is going to be a loss regardless of how they get to the drive-through. They could still win it. They could still knock out BDS. They could still get themselves dangerously confirmed, but we continue on. Dorm's main hall, Heroic. They've taken 5 of the last 6 rounds.
Dangerous statistic for Virtus.pro here. Bringing in some Capcan traps again. Pasha this time will be playing onto the Warden, hoping that he's going to be the one that gets bullied into a corner next time, because he can just activate those glasses and then be like, you know, it's not that bad if you have these glasses on. Like, it's just like some flashes, but it doesn't really obscure my vision.
Yeah, it's the perfect response. Yeah. It's the perfect sort of setup there. You know, you talk about how good he can be against those certain lineups. Generally, people are excited to play the man. I mean, look at Crime. The responses of him over
Warden, yes.
No, don't mind if I do.
Even proposes it, like, should I play Warden? It's like he's super excited to get on the operator.
Heroic. Back down to the approach here onto Dorms. Virtus.pro. As you said, they sort of want to learn from their mistakes. They don't want to double down. They don't want to try and find themselves pushing and rotating onto the other sites and double down on a loss. Instead, they're going to see if they can turn that into a success story here with lessons taught. The sprays, the pressure, the drone just on the other side of the chair, but he has no real idea. He's trying to find it. There it is. And the E1D calls out. He's going to stay not behind the shield just for now as the Gon 6 goes across. It only caught one of the ADSs, and there's a little bit of damage to Skitty. The second one will activate in a second. They're pre-firing the angle, but Dan's been able to tuck himself back into the site from that.
Always down below. Has the opportunity to go for a Nitro Cell later on. Has to just patiently wait until this push starts to come down into the master bedroom. Now the shield will be removed. Camera will be giving away some information. Pasha has the opportunity to lean back in, but Always is that crucial player out here. If they realize what's going on, he's definitely going to start popping up here with that Nitro. The question is he being watched though? I believe Kak might have been in a position to do so. The drone that was checking if it was safe on the other side did get taken down. And Always still patiently waiting.
There is somebody that was on the armory cam. The Buck, though, is making quick opening work of that. There's a big rotate from Doom. He's potentially heading to the double window. He's done enough from underneath as far as he can call it, and that's the C4. As I said, there was somebody watching that cam. They were more than ready to tell him when to loose. Suddenly, they've lost the first. They've lost that Buck. They've lost that potential danger from underneath. Joystick's been able to get the big tower reinforced. Always was making his rotate round onto the back end. Now he's stuck in an engagement that Skiddy wins out. 4-4. Was the cost of the wall worth it? I guess we're about to find out. The drop on towards Pit, the attention paid either side. They used the blinds before. Always is a bit locked out, but if he sprays one of these windows at the right time, well, there's the right time. He's looking for the next as well, and he finds it! Always either side, and he's everywhere on the map, causing problems. Uno and Kayak now, all that's left of Heroic's push. They're trying to wrestle their way through onto trophy side. Always has rotated his way back underneath. Kayak is isolated on the double window. And at this point, with 30 seconds and nothing being handed the same way Virtus.pro did it before on their round win, they sort of leant in and pulled themselves back out. There's at least one on the rotate round, 20 seconds. Kayak has rotated his way over towards Pit. They're going to go for the blind and the push at the same time. They're hoping the player goes for the pressure. There's a catch from Kayak, somehow against all odds. Sprays towards the next. The timer is ticking away, though. He's got to try and drive himself towards the default plant and hope the cover comes through. There it is. Played onto the side. Kayak can't find the first fight, and now it's just a close down. And there is the round for Virtus.pro.
Well done by VP. More importantly, well done by Always there. That first one with the C4, perfect team play. One on the camera telling him when to blow it up. But afterwards, as it rotates back up, it's like, oh, well, I've been locked out, but that's fine. I have these windows I can play from. Finds 2 kills on the back of it. Really just neutralizes the approach. Like the sting that was there in Heroic's attack. And allowed Virtus.pro to regain themselves. Back towards the basement we go, towards the laundry. They won this one very comfortably last time. You see some of the replays here. I mean, you were just stuck in that position as soon as you went for that reinforcement.
Yeah, it's a bold reinforcement to do at that point, but then...
Might have been better to just stay there for a bit.
So is this Always sort of getting the round there, the triple kill, heard around the world. Hey, some stats are coming through.
Yeah. First, Yana been inside the EU League. Before today, Yana had a 92% play rate.
She was banned yesterday.
Are you lying to us,
There was an
Bruno?
Iana Nook ban yesterday. This is coming from
Fresh.
Fresh.
You're lying to us?
There was a game yesterday that was an Iana Nook ban, and I commented, that's interesting, because who do you entry with now? Wolves Secret,
according to medics.
Fresh, I mean, he knows a lot. Let's be honest, he's allowed a dip every now and again.
That's your ticket. Just used.
You're allowed, though. Luckily, I was here. Hap believed you.
I believe anything Fresh tells me.
Yeah. Hap believes literally anything.
That's not true. Not anything. But I am easy to make something believe.
5-4. Virtus.pro. They win the round after the tack timeout, and now they're going to see if they can try and double it down on Laundry. As we saw at the very beginning of this game, Laundry is a site they can take, but it's a site that the other team can take right back. It was a back and forth between the pair of them, and that sort of continued on throughout the rest of it. They're both technically 2 for 2 on it. Who is going to be the current champions? Are we going to find ourselves suddenly level?
Match is reinforced, will be opened up quickly, no real worries here. Now, there is multiple counters to a mirror window. One will be the Twitch that's on there from Blaz. The other one would be to just move the shield up in front. Like, what are you going to do about it? So that's an option they're bringing in as well. It's like, you know, we're going to end, first of all, take care of the mirror windows like that. And as the drone gets taken out, all we need to do now is just put the Monty just in front of that other one. Not much they can do about it.
That's it. The Monty is trying to find a firefight on the back end, though. Went for the camera. He wasn't actually looking for the firefight. It was just funny timing. But that's it. Look at the drones. As soon as they got that freezer mirror open, they've suddenly gone, well, now they cannot play that corner. They can really isolate the push. Doom has the kit. They may be drawing attention towards the Monty on the back end. Joystick's doing his best to cause some pressure, cause some presence on the opposite end. Heroic, they're trying to make the space. They're trying to just get some of that clarity.
In
And
the hallway.
yeah, there it is. There's not a lot of space that Virtus.pro can sort of sit happy.
No, it's definitely very busy in that hallway, and as they decide, you know what, we can just send a grenade through, see if we find anything with it, but VP just fell back just far enough. Smoke grenade comes through, is just there to see if they can limit some of these angles that could be used. Joystick looking to lean in, finds the first, as Joom already down in the meantime as well. I'm not sure if that was the smoke or anything else in the meantime. The Monty pushes down, but now stuck inside the smoke, is going to be forced to move further through the side, gets removed from the board. A pickup comes through onto Joom. Just going to go aggressive on them now.
Blaz gets to take an important one, and Joom's back up, but look at the timer and look at the position of Shepard. There's a shotgun, there's almost the second story on it, but with the wide swings coming across Virtus.pro, they did not have a lot of room to work with, but what they had, they made sure it counted. They sort of stepped themselves back in as soon as the timer came against them. As soon as that first grenade popped off with not a catch on the end of it, look at how Virtus.pro moved back into that space. They realized just where all the pressure was cooked. They didn't pay attention to the Monty and Heroic. They pay attention to the timeout clock, the conversation with the team, and obviously the coach to piece together what was going so right and why has it started to go a bit wrong.
That's it, right? Like, you lost 2 of your rounds. They called a timeout when they were on, when you were on 5. Now you call a timeout when they are on 5. See if you can return the favor. Find 2 rounds in a row, because that would be enough to find yourselves into the playoffs. Now, again, mentioning it for those of you that are just tuning in now. If Virtus.pro win this game, they are confirmed playoffs. If Virtus.pro win this game in overtime, both Heroic and Virtus.pro are confirmed in playoffs. So if Heroic picks up any point, they are as well. Doesn't matter if it's going to be like an OT win or a full-fledged win or an OT loss, just any point.
Attackers need to locate and defeat.
If I recall correctly. We're getting underway again, and it is going to be a meeting that is going to be chosen by Virtus.pro. Of course, the dorms are still unlocked. That's what we have seen last time with Heroic as well. We're forced to go for a full rotation before being allowed back towards the laundry. That's a drone pickup. It's right behind the wheel. Can you actually get an angle on that? Might be able to bang that through the rubber. Oh, Skitty just shows himself for a second there. Was just trying to figure out what exactly was happening on that door. Almost lost a drone because of it. But nothing to worry about for Heroic yet, as we are getting near the closing parts of this match between these two. The option is there for Heroic to either go for a stage play or to go for maybe a lobby play, you know, just open up the lobby, try and go for a quick plant right around the corner, and otherwise it's going to be kitchen. Those are your 3 options you could really go for. Now, we do see the track stingers from Gridlock make an appearance. It's not often we see that operator on the board.
No, we've got a good taste of interesting operators today. I commented on it on some of the Virtus.pro attacks, but, you know, it's always nice to get more of a stretch of the pool of operators, of the people that are coming into this engagement. Will they have the same response, though? It's obviously tertiary sort of holds. Tertiary sites is over on... they've opted for the same thing that Heroic did, and this could be a very decisive decider as the drive through. Solace is more common recently, but most notably first time seen in this showdown.
And as mentioned, like, was trying to find a drone earlier on, but couldn't quite connect just yet. And that's the track stingers use. They're using them on the staircases, so players that are above cannot rotate back down if they would win on the fight, but more importantly, players cannot rotate upwards without giving away their position, because right now Heroic is looking like they want to take that top under control. And there is going to be some yellow pings on some players. Joystick is again finding himself stuck out. Here's going to go into the gunfight, leans in, Skitty finds him instead. That means the entry kill is right there for the side of Heroic. He will be connecting here, which will allow them to open up the kitchen wall. C4 will be used to potentially try and deny that.
That's it. It's not quite fully locked in, though. You can still hear stuff starting to pop across the board. The C4 did some of the damage, and the wall gets re-electrified, so it's only going to be opened as a slight angle. But otherwise, that was the lock-in, and that's a minute now left. Heroic. They're getting themselves skirted around the top. They're utilizing the buck to open up these angles. We saw some devastating use of the verticality before, and it's Virtus.pro still with their name holding on to that title for now. The C4 doesn't quite get the full drop, though. A big missed moment they'll be ruining if they knew
to go for the pickup. They have done. Skitty back onto 23, back on his feet. And Virtus.pro falling back down below. Now, there's not much you can actually do from here. There's a couple of staircases you can work with.
Ooh.
Actually finding a player on a cam there.
Solid.
The rotation already has come through. And due to the fact that there is... Oh, the plant! Well, what are you going to do now? Like, you kind of going to run through. Skitty someone doesn't actually get the kill. Pasha finds two of his own, and suddenly VP turned his back around. The verticality is there. Dan wasn't punished when he should have. With 17 seconds left on the clock, he sees the flashbang come in. That's just a free kill given to him before Doom strikes back.
Pasha, I don't even know truly where he swung from there. Suddenly everyone's been locked out. It must have been just here on the side of server. They're going for the plant again. The pings are coming through. Cannot go the route of the gridlock. They've gone to plant elsewhere. Just tucked on the side, and the combo. They weren't watching the server rotate. Pasha swings onto it on the call of the Solace, gets the planter, gets the cover behind him on the kitchen door, and suddenly everything is falling apart there for Heroic, who thought they had every angle watched. Maybe that's what the Buck was trying to pay attention to rather than the Solace run, because the Solace was only the precursor of the call. It was the power play, the passion of Pasha that preceded that round. 6-5. Virtus.pro have guaranteed themselves a point. Will they keep BDS's dream alive by taking all of them?
There's that big question. Will we see this group to be locked out with only seeding left to play for, or will we still have some excitement for the next play day to come through? Now, Pasha again on the Solace, spots out some of these drones, uses an impact to get rid of Dooms. Some dedication on drone hunting right there, using that kind of utility. Probably doesn't really need it for anything else later on, so as long as he has one in pocket, that's all fine. But again, Skitty not being able to pick up Pasha as he... not Pasha, sorry. The player as he runs by. I think it was Joystick. Either way, Pasha was the one that got 2 kills. It was the Solace that just ran through. That's hurtful as well, because you were watching that angle. You knew there was someone right behind it. And then just siege timing, I guess. Like, you're just not watching it for a second, or you're just talking about something, so you have a bit of a slower response time. Either way, it all just fell apart really quickly there. Joystick is on a window. He's going to make himself to be known. Come hunt me down.
On a window. On a top tower window.
Top tower window, yeah.
Trying to draw some attention here over the side. We saw him play this position before.
Not going to ignore him again.
Yeah,
Just
that was it.
off. They don't really want to deal with him.
They don't want to. They want their push to be pieced together somewhere else. Remember, what sort of defined this round was the rotations of the Capcan. Was that play of the C4? Was the route that they had before, which they're not obviously opting for exactly the same this time round. Instead, they want to see if they can be a little bit sharp. Joystick, he sort of sprays through. He hoped they would tuck themselves back in for the engagement, but they've got more important ones, and apparently they're on the other side of the map.
Oh, the grenade from below! Oh! Does bounce back just. Joystick now stuck here. Cannot actually walk past this hatch, because if he does, he will be shot at by Skitty. Skitty still has another grenade, so it's just a bit of bluff right now as he walks by. Shoots it into Skitty's feet and survives. Joystick ignored first when they realized he was in the tower, then tried to take a fight, and again they didn't pay attention to him, so decided to just walk by this time around and go back towards the site.
I mean, look at this. Kayak is now trying to get control of tower. They're spraying through towards the top of the armory side. They've got those standard Maverick holes that you'd usually follow up with a grenade lineup once upon a time when he had them, but now instead you only really got the flashes and the chance to get some intel and a drive through on the rest of the players. Nice little drone placement there. Just for the angles, just for the impressions of the back end, but we've got a minute now. We have all the players still standing. We've got some of that sort of circling control underneath as well. There's a cooked grenade that bounces up to nobody from the kitchen side as well. They still have one more in the pocket of Doom if they want to try the catch, but at some point you've got to catch the site.
Definitely have to go towards that site soon, yes. His time is ticking down, Heroic. You need to reply now, otherwise this game is over. And it's VP running away with the points. Now, Grenade's going to get pulled. You hear the Candelas go off and smokes as well, but Always is always still there. Skitty finds Joystick. Shepard takes a lot of damage here. Pasha finds one as a reply, but still the diffuser not in sight.
Oh, just misses the rotate of the player inside the Kid Storm side. Always, he's stacked up, hoping these blinds come. You can shoot those out if you didn't know, and you can also shoot the players too. Shepard locked out on the opposite side. Heroic, they've been able to scream themselves into sight, but with not many times and a solace underneath. Where you put the kid is very important. They're doing their best to buy the time itself. There's Dan getting one more, the 2 versus 2. The call on the play and the solace below. They have the read, they have the time, they have the impact, and they have the game! Virtus Pro, and you can see it on Pasher and Always. Most importantly, you can see it on the scoreboard of the group. They jump themselves up once again. Heroic fall down once again. BDS, they live on to fight.
Yeah, they get to decide between themselves the next play day to find out which is going to be that final team in the playoffs.